good afternoon to everyone. The first years, welcome to Karnavati University. Firstly, I would just like to set certain things, clarify certain things. Whatever you heard about me is wrong. I'm not an eminent jurist. Okay. I am not a litigator. I'm on the other side of what, the legal profession is all about. Okay. I'm perhaps the, least qualified person here. Everybody is a PhD, a scholar in their own right. I am not. I'm just a master's student. But I work as a senior partner in a law firm. Okay. So I don't know how many of you are aware of the concepts of law firms. Law in the kind of world that we live in, mostly you would identify the profession of law with, the stalwarts, the legal luminaries, the people who wear the silk robes, go and argue it out in courts, right? But there is a different world. There's a world which is different from that kind of world. Okay, there's a world which sits in air-conditioned chambers and ensures that their clients don't reach the courts, right? So if for example you have people who are busy working in disputes, okay, or so the way I kind of distinguish between these two set of professions is that I say that okay, we are the ones who make marriages happen, okay, and the litigators are the one who ensure that the rights of each parties are secured if at all they get into a divorce, right? So that is what the difference between corporate and other kind of the litigating law is. But anyway, so just to kind of take you through my journey. That is what I was told, that I need to talk to you about my journey as a corporate lawyer. What did I do? What have I done? And I've reached this place so as to be at that position where I can talk to you about my journey. I frankly, when I was told about this, I did not know what to tell you. And the reason is that your real learning will start when you leave this place. Okay. I'm not sure if that is the appropriate thing to say. But what happens that we all get into educational institutions thinking about that okay, once you walk through the portals of an esteemed institute, you become ready for the real world. The answer is sadly no. Okay, and that is true for all institutions. Okay, today I hire students. I hire final year law students. I hire laterals who are lawyers in my firm. And let me tell you, when we deal with recruitments, okay, when we deal with these people who have perhaps the best of academic credentials, they might have won moot courts, they might have won debating competitions, so on and so forth. But when it comes to actually, rolling up your sleeves and getting on to do the dirty work, okay, none of them are ready. So then, what is the solution? Okay, we, in the previous session, Dr. Shantakumar, he mentioned about the fact that there is vacuum at the top. Indeed, there is vacuum at the top. Okay, but how many of us are able to access that vacuum, right? So your journey, and see, when I talk about solutions, the real answer is that I don't even have a solution. Okay, because each one of you, whatever reasons, whatever is the reason for you pursuing law, okay, you will have your own journey to make. Okay, and many of you would want to get into litigation, many of you would want to get into academics, somebody wants to get into judiciary, somebody wants to go in-house, and somebody wants to become a corporate lawyer like me, right? But each and every journey will be different in its own right. Okay. Now, when I started, my career as a lawyer, okay, it was 20 years ago in Ahmedabad. There was not a single corporate law firm. Okay. I come from a regular middle-class household, and I remember my teacher in school, who also happens to be the wife of a very famous judge in Gujarat. She told me that law is a starving profession. Okay, and when somebody tells you that law is a starving profession, you develop a cold feet. You say, "Arey yaar, ye karna hai, nahi karna hai." Okay, what will happen if I come from a standard, regular, middle-class household? I don't have the time to wait for 10 years before I start actually making money in something which is, where there are no guarantees. I would rather do an engineering degree or take up a medical profession or do an MBA and at least get a steady paying job, right? So that was the state 20 years ago, okay? And, most of you would have very different reasons of picking up law. Some of you might be coming from, family of lawyers, okay? Somebody might have taken this because you have seen Suits or Boston Legal or any of those fancy, glamorous, soaps from the West which glamorize law, right? And everybody has a different reason. Okay, I had a reason which I'm too embarrassed to talk about on a podium like this. Okay, so there could be several reasons for each one of you. But now, since you're here, okay, you should know that that there are certain areas, or once you pass through the portals of this institution, there will be certain things that you will be picking up. Now, Professor Shanta Kumar in his address spoke of the fact that we have 20 million lawyers, okay, which means 2 crore. Okay, so if we're talking about 135 crore population, we would have about, say, close to about 1%, 1.5%, people who would qualify as lawyers. Okay, now in that kind of a rut, whether you would want to be a lawyer is something that you have to answer for yourself. But when statements like these are made, okay, I'm also reminded of what Honorable Pranab Mukherjee, our former president, used to say about India. That whatever you say about India, the opposite is equally true. Okay, so while you have these numbers, these statistics that are thrown at you, that okay, there are, like the same thing goes for engineers, right? I mean, India produces more than 250,000 engineers every year. Okay, now what does that mean? I mean, on one hand there is a glut or an oversupply of engineers. On the other hand, you see newspapers talking about TCS and Infosys hiring more than 50,000-60,000 engineers every year. Okay, so there is statistics never give you the complete story. Okay, there's a bureaucrat who used to very cheekily say that statistics are like bikinis. Okay, while they reveal what is important, they conceal what is vital. Okay, so it's not the best of measures, or it's not the best of things to completely believe in whatever you're being said, right? Because things around you are changing, okay, and they're changing at a very rapid space. So coming back to my own journey, so I was an accidental lawyer, right? We didn't have 5-year courses at that time in Gujarat when I did my law degree, and I was a journalist before becoming a lawyer. So I used to write on law and regulatory affairs. And then, one fine day I decided, okay, I want to make law as my career. So I said that, okay, what should I do? I don't have an option here. I can't wait for 10 years. Okay, I can't carry on the files of senior counsels and walk like puppies in the corridors of the courts. No, I can't do that. I'm an independent, thinking, rational, confident man in my early 20s. I can't do that. So what was the option? I said, okay, let me go abroad. Okay, now going abroad, okay, is it worthwhile? Am I doing an MBA? No. So the answer was Oxford, Cambridge, LSE. Okay, so I, made up my mind. I was already a journalist for 7 years. I had covered the famous earthquake, the riots. I was working for Economic Times, covering judiciary, and I had many friends in the legal fraternity, but I wanted to make a career which was different from litigation. So I said that, okay, let me go abroad. So I did my master's from London School of Economics, and lo and behold, I got an opportunity to work with an Indian law firm in London. So I was in London for about 15 years, and I used to practice one law, which was, I used to practice corporate law, and within corporate, I specialized in insurance. So in India, there are about 8 or 9 insurance lawyers, and I am one among them. Okay. Now, many of you would say, "Arey yaar, ye insurance law kya hota hai?" Right? I mean, you would have heard about litigation, you would have heard about corporate, you would not know what is insurance law. I had the same question. Okay, until I went to London and I saw that how law firms there are super specialized. Okay, we have not even scrapped the surface. Okay, as to what is the opportunity that exists in the world of law. हम लोग क्या सोचते हैं? Law means काला कोट पहना, बैंड पहना, गए argue किया, right? That is not what law is all about. Okay, law is much more and beyond. So when I remember, I was a part of a foreign law firm, and I used to be a part of the India desk, and I used to sit in one of the poshest buildings in London. And in the lunch break, I bumped into one of the other colleagues, and I asked her, we were exchanging notes, and I asked her, "What do you do?" So she said, "I do runoff." Runoff? What does that mean? She said the runoff is one area of law which deals with, like, when an insurance company goes bankrupt, okay, and whatever happens to the policies that it has written, and whatever happens to the obligations that it has to its shareholders and its policyholders, okay, that is taken care of in runoff. I said, okay, and how big is your team? So she said, we have 8 people. Now just imagine one law firm which has 5,000 lawyers, okay, which specializes in insurance. They have a separate department which only deals with runoffs. Okay, and in India, when you go and talk to somebody and say, "Boss, what do you do?" I say, "I do insurance law," and they say, "Acha, does something like that exist?" So the point that I'm making is that whatever you hear about trends, okay, whatever you hear about the past, whatever you hear about people saying that, "Acha, do this, don't do this. This profession has this kind of opportunity, or it does not have this kind of opportunity." Okay, sometimes you will have to create opportunities, and I'm telling you, we are talking to a generation, okay, which is a very different generation. I mean, you are the guys who are creating unicorns, right? I mean, back in the day, like I have clients, okay, those 25, 26-year-olds, they walk in with the air of confidence, and they will come and pitch a business idea to me, and they know shit all of, sorry, pardon my French please, but they know nothing about what is law or regulation, but they know how, they have identified a problem, okay, and they are coming up with a solution. And they say that, look, with technological intervention, I want to solve this problem, okay. And lo and behold, people like me, I will say, अरे यार ये law बीच में आ रहा है, ये वो इधर आ रहा है बीच में, ये regulation है, you can't do this. They will say, give me a solution, okay. And I will say, yes, I will give you a solution. Okay? So the law there is not about interpreting a constitutional, a judgment on constitution and applying that law somewhere or arguing it out, before a judge or a bench. Okay, the point there of law is, what I'm doing is that I'm seeing that, okay, law identifies A, B, C, D as what can be done. Law identifies as 1, 2, 3 which cannot be done. Okay, so between the black and the white is this huge gray, where with the help of these young talents and the right lawyer, you're going to make the most money, right? So it's got nothing to do with courts, okay? It's got nothing to do with the judgments. It's got nothing to do with anything that you've heard of what law is all about. But it is different. I mean, and it is where most headline grabbing stuff is being done. Okay, in those cleavages, in those fissures, is where real law is practiced as per. Okay, and many of us may not be in alignment or may not be in agreement in what I'm saying, but that is my view, because that has been a part of my journey, and that has been a part of my story. Okay, so as I say, I am an accidental lawyer, and but it is like they say, there is this beautiful line in politics. They say that sometimes the moment discovers a man, or sometimes the man discovers a moment. Okay, and in case of professions, okay, the way they are evolving, what in America, and we were having a chat in this what do you call it, the green room, right? So we were having a chat with Dr. Shantakumar and other faculty from the law school here. What, half the jobs in the legal profession have been eliminated by artificial intelligence, and it's not only law, right? It's in many other fields as well. So, like, for example, the paralegal jobs in America, okay, they have completely disappeared. The machines are doing their jobs. Okay, the high street lawyer, when you walk through a high street in in London or New York, you will have a property lawyer, you will have a probate lawyer, a family lawyer, okay, who will prepare wills, etc. Those all have disappeared. Why? Because machines are doing this. You have templates created, उसमें नाम डालो, address डालो, ये डालो, वो आपको will बना के दे देगा. Right? Why do you need a lawyer? And the same thing is happening in different aspects. I was told, I have never stood in a court of law and argued. Okay? Never. I've never even stepped into a court. Okay? I've stepped into a court as a journalist, but never as a lawyer. Okay? I don't know how to draft an affidavit, for example. But why do I need to know? Okay? It's a very simple thing. I mean, anybody can draft an affidavit, right? What I need to know is that today, when I pick up the newspaper, okay, and I see that, okay, Ola, which is coming up with its electric vehicles, okay, it has made its factory, which will have 5,000 employees, they all will be women employees. Okay, now that is a major thing which will have legal implications. I mean, we have a professor here who does labor law, right? And this is something which is changing the course of how law is applied, okay, in India, right? So anyway, coming back to my story, we today run a law firm which is trying to be different, okay, which specializes in sectors, which is not into litigation and arbitration and the other traditional way how law firms are looked at. Okay, we are doing things like I do insurance. My other partners, they focus on education. Okay, education as a sector. Okay, there are others in our firm. We do global mobility. Okay, now you know what you've heard of. I mean, how many of you know this film Extraction? Chris Hemsworth, handsome man, girls. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So when Netflix wanted to produce that film, okay, they wanted to get a crew of 150 people into India. Okay. So what do? They need lawyers. Okay. In India, there are no immigration lawyers. Why? Because अरे इंडिया कौन जाता है? हम तो बाहर जाते हैं ना. India से we need immigration lawyers to go to US, UK, Canada, etc. Who comes to India? But it's a booming practice. We helped Chris Hemsworth and his entire team come to place like Ahmedabad. Okay. Extraction was shot in places in Gujarat, right? We did the entire project. Okay. So the point that I'm making is that world of law is beyond. It's far beyond the silk robes and the courts, and it is very important for you as future lawyers to know that, understand that, and be open to this. And finally, be it LSC or LSHA or St. Xavier's College, where I did my literature as an undergrad, let me tell you, I learned more outside the classroom than inside the classroom. Okay, with all due respect to all professors and lecturers and so on, because real life skills are taught outside the classroom. Okay, classroom will not teach you how to deal with heartbreak, right? Heartbreak is something that you discover on your own, and it is necessary because it will help you face rejection and disappointments in your real life, right? Because when you come with all this air of confidence and walk into your law firm for the first day, or even when you're litigating, and if somebody will say that, okay, please write, capture whatever has been discussed in an email and send it to me, and when you will make more number of mistakes than the number of words in your paragraph, okay, I'm going to throw it back at you and say, boss, what are you doing? Okay. Or when you walk into my room and say that, okay, I have understood this law, but I am not able to present it simply in 5 sentences. Okay, like it's a very interesting thing, and I'll just take some more time. But when you read an opinion that comes from an English lawyer, and when you read an opinion that unfortunately comes from an Indian lawyer, okay, Indian lawyer will be so jumbled up. He will quote entire sections and sections in an opinion. I'll say, अरे भाई section पढ़ना होता तो मैं भी book खोल के पढ़ सकता हूँ, right? I am a client. I don't need to know what the section is saying. I need to know its essence. I need to know whether the law is saying yes or no, I can do or I cannot do. But anyway, so everything. So it's very important to know, to get to expand your worldview. Okay, expand your worldview beyond what you like. When I speak to students who are coming to me for a job, I never ask them whether what they've learned in the school. I will ask them, okay, what do you know outside the classroom? Okay, there is a girl who I just interviewed yesterday. She said that she is a Kathak dancer, a trained Kathak dancer. And I asked her, okay, which are the other forms of classical dance? Okay, she could not go beyond Bharatnatyam. Okay, I said, yeah, Bharatnatyam, Kathak, there is Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, Odissi. What about those, right? So what I'm saying is that you need to expand and that is where your personality will develop. Okay, as a lawyer, what you need to know is that you should have the ability to find the answers. See, nobody in this world has the right answers, right? Nobody. And if somebody says that he has all the right answers, just imagine that the person is lying. Okay, because we all have to open a book and go and read. That is what a lawyer does. Okay. When the client comes to you and says that whether he can or cannot do, I'll say, Acha, haan, wait, let me check the law and then come back to you. Okay, because nobody will have all the answers ready-made. So prepare yourself to be ready for hard work, okay, and the willingness to learn. There's a willingness to learn. Everything around you is changing. आप जो पढ़ रहे हो, it's going to be obsolete in the next 4-5 years. Okay, ये जो half the laws, like there are so many new concepts that are coming. Okay, a lot of it is going to be irrelevant. So it's very important that you have the willingness to learn, willingness to change, willingness to transform, and then everything belongs to you. So I will just end up, and if you have any questions, we can always take questions, or if you have any suggestions, thoughts, comments, I'll be open to it. But I will just end up saying that there's a very nice line which has been a defining line for my journey, which is it's just from a song. I think it's Pink Floyd or someone. It says that life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Okay, so I'm an accidental lawyer, but what I ended up doing was also not what traditional lawyers do. But yeah, I mean, we are there. We are trying to redefine things, and hope you are also able to transform and redefine things for yourselves and for the society, economy, nation, and the world at large. So thank you, and all the best.